Welcome back to making a UE5 tutorial every day for the rest of my life. This is day 2, and we're making a very simple health bar. So let's get down to it. Okay, so to start off with, some of these things I've already done because I've recorded this 3 times, and my microphone's been playing up, so that's fun. We're going to go to, I've just created a folder called UI in my third-person blueprint folder, and I'm going to right-click and create a blueprint widget. But I've already done this, so just create that, name it whatever you want, and we'll open it up. And all I've done is create a canvas panel, which is, you can just find that on this right-hand side here by just searching canvas panel, and then you can also then, it should resize to the same size as mine if it's the first canvas panel going down, and then you just want a progress bar, which you can just drag out. And yeah, I've then colored mine red. As you can see, you can color yours whatever color you want, but I went with red because it's health. So we'll click OK. Now, I'm going to remove this binding for now. So there's a couple of things you can do here to get your health recording. Now, like I said just then, one of them is bindings. The other one, you can create an event. The bindings, a lot of people don't like because they can be kind of expensive, especially if you use a lot of them. Because they run every tick. Very similar to an event tick, they run every 60 times a second, whatever it is, the frame rate is. So you want to be careful about when you use them. They're not as expensive as people make out, but obviously, again, if you're using a lot of them, it can get a bit costly. But we'll create a new binding for this, and just drag it out. And all we need to do is, well, the first thing we need to do before we do this is we need to create a couple of variables in our third-person character, and those are mainly current health and max health. If you've never created a variable before, click on the plus icon, come down here with this little drop down, and for me, I'm using a float. But this is where you get all your variables and you set them. And then you can just name it whatever you want, and you're good to go. I've set mine to 50 for the current health and 100 for the max health. That is purely just for the testing phase, so I could show it working. But the max health and the current health typically should match. So I'd have it like 100 and 100. So now we've got those two variables. What we can do is come down here, cast to third person character, like so. Plug that in, get the player character. Then we want to get our current health, get our max health, and then we want to divide, and then plug that in. And that will return us a value from 0 to 1, which is what the progress bar works on. You can't have it from like 0 to 100, it doesn't work like that. So it has to be from 0 to 1. So dividing the current health by the max health will give you that value. Now, if you don't want to use a binding, what we can do is in the event graph of this widget, we can set this up. And it's a very similar thing. It's just we create a custom event. We bring in our current health and our max health. We divide them just like we did in the binding. But instead, we will grab the variable for our progress bar, and then we will get the node set %, and we just plug that in. And it works just the same, but the difference is you just call this when you want to update it, as opposed to updating 60 times a second. So performance-wise, it is better. But again, if you're making a single-player game, the binding works just the same. It really isn't going to have that much of a negative impact on your performance. But either way works. I know a lot of people prefer this sort of method, and you can also create a secondary custom event. So you could call this one reduce health, and then you can have one that's like increase health, and then you can call them depending on whether you're healing or you're. Actually, no, you don't even need to do that. Sorry, that is a lie. You can just do this because it's just an update. You're not actually increasing or reducing the health at this point. You're just updating it. So this actually will work for both methods. I'm an idiot. Okay, so now we need a way to see this. Now this one, I won't be able to show this method off until tomorrow's episode. I'm not to try and give anything away. But the binding we can show. But first we need to set up the widget. Okay, so when creating a widget, again, there's a few different methods you could do. And they will all depend on whether you're doing single player or multiplayer, etc., etc. The most conventional way is we will create widget, like so. We'll set that to be the widget that we want, and then we add to viewport. Very simple, very effective. Like I said, for a single player game, will work every time. Should work every time without fail. It's just not the most reliable, in my opinion. One thing I will always do as well is I will unhook that, and normally I will pull off and promote to variable. I've already created one, so I'm not going to create another one. That would be pointless. So I'm just going to set mine and plug this into here. And then this is useful for those moments where you want to do this update, because you need a way to call this custom event. So you can use this variable to do that. So you can compile. Now, the way I prefer to do this, again, even if I'm doing single player or whether I'm doing multiplayer, is I will call the event possess. So every time we possess the pawn, it will run this create player HUD widget. That just means that this code will run definitely after we possess the pawn. If it runs before we possess the pawn, then it just won't do anything. So, excuse me. This is why this is a much better method. Now, if we're doing single player, this method will work. If we're doing multiplayer, this will not work, because this is running on the server. Now, if there is no server because you're playing on single player, it will run because you're running it on, you're running it on essentially the client. Because the single player, there's only ever the client. There's no server. But the minute you hit multiplayer, this won't work because the server is not telling the player to run this code. So what we need to do is we just need to have one extra step, which is get a custom event and client. We'll call it client create UI. We'll just plug that on there, and we just need to set that custom event to on the replicate side here on the right hand side. Oh, I've moved my thing over. I've just realized that. I'm sorry. On the right hand side, we want to run on owning client. So on event possessed, we now just call client create UI. And then we should be able to do that on the client. Now, I'm already set up on the client, so if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There we go. We have a UI there that is 50%. And just to test this a bit further, we can set that current health to, let's just say, 70. Compile, and let's give it another go. And you can see it's slightly bigger this time. So it is working. It's picking up on those bindings. Now, like I said, we don't necessarily want to use bindings. We definitely don't want to use bindings for multiplayer if we can help it. So in the next video, we'll take a look at showing off the other health bar system, the custom event one, with a whole nother subject for day 3. But if you have any ideas for more videos down the line, like that you'd like to see, please leave them in the comments. And if you're new here and you like this, please hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us grow and really does help the channel. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 3.